Hello everyone, it's Matthew Sauer with Canadian Energy. Today we're going to be doing example fill-ins of our Powersport product. We have our CTX model, which is an absorbed glass mat Powersport product, which you can fill and charge after. Pretty standard box. Just open the lid up. You will have brief instructions at on the first flap when you open the battery up. It also includes an owner's manual. It will include your terminal bolts. It will include the electrolyte pack. Now this one is different than the standard flooded. Each cell has its own preset individual amount of electrolyte that is specifically measured to enter each cell. So I'll show you how to use that properly. The vent cap is actually a long black strip to make this a sealed unit. And then you have the battery itself. So we are going to fill the CTX 14-BS with electrolyte to show the proper procedures. You will need a pair of safety gloves, potentially a pair of scissors, potentially a pair of clippers, a pair of pliers, a light hammer, and paper towel in case you have any spillage of the electrolyte. So the owner's manual, again, read this before you fill the battery up. Simple instructions that are labeled 1 through 7. Now the difference between this battery and the standard flooded Powersport unit is that there are actually no vent caps that you have to remove or vent tube to remove before filling. This is an AGM product, so you take the factory seal off of it, and you can see inside each cell here that there are sharp puncture tubes that will puncture the electrolyte pack to allow the electrolyte to fill into the battery. So again, we aren't handling the electrolyte in a dangerous manner right now because it is sealed. These are the vent caps, which I'll show how to properly put on at the end of it. But each individual electrolyte pack is specific for a cell. So you see they have the little tinfoil seal on top of it, which you will push into the cells of the battery. First, we'll put our safety gloves on. Again, you don't want any electrolyte getting on your hands. If you do get electrolyte in your hands, just go to the bathroom and give them a good wash and you should be okay. You just line up each tinfoil seal to each cell, get it in there, and push it down relatively hard. And I sometimes just give it a little bit of a wiggle to get the fluid moving. Some cells fill up a lot quicker than others, but you basically just sit here and let it do its thing. So it's a lot easier than the flooded version because you're not having to measure how much electrolyte is in each cell. You don't have to match a lower or higher level. You don't have to worry about spilling, really. So it is easier to do. And as it's kind of coming to the end, you just want to slowly pull this off. Be careful or you'll get a splash. Pull it towards the front of the battery, the terminals, and you just lift it off. Grab just the plastic that it was in. Leftover electrolyte, if it does come out, is in the bag. We want to let this sit again for another hour and a bit. We're going to seal the battery. Again, have your paper towel, your hammer. Put the gloves back on here. Just give the top a wipe. And then you put this vent tube on. Now it says do not open. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so have the lettering face the front of the battery. Put them onto each cell and a light hammer. And you just hammer it down slowly. When you're hammering it down, don't start at one side and go across, because you'll find that if you push in two of the cells too soon, the cap actually lifts up and it's pretty difficult to get them in and you don't get a nice flush seal. And then just do a double check to make sure that there's no lip so that the cap is actually in the battery. So again, we'll let that sit for an hour or so and then you can put that on charge for the customer. But that is how you fill Powersport batteries properly and safely. And if you have any questions, call one of the Canadian Energy branches.